Welcome. I'm Jai Kartar, and this is the YouTube version of Yoga with the Stars. Now, that's the name of a weekly Kundalini yoga and meditation class that I teach at Yoga West in Eugene, Oregon. And in that class, I look at the transits, the astrological transits that are happening that week, and I select yoga and meditation that would help us be in the flow of the cosmic influences, making the most of the possibilities, and maybe warning us and helping us meet the challenges that are suggested by the movement of the planets. So this series is a little different because I'm focused on a particular aspect that's out there in the future. It's not going to be exact until April 12th, but we're already, and I'm recording this on February 23rd, we're already in that influence, and right now the sun is also in Pisces. So this is a coming together of Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces, and these are the two planets that co-rule the sign of Pisces, and they are probably the two most spiritual planets. Jupiter, the largest planet in our solar system, the king of the gods, up high on the mountaintop, so far-seeing, high perspective, the great benefic, so very beneficent view toward others, and very expansive. So Jupiter elevates and expands whatever it touches. The traditional ruler of Pisces. Now, once the telescope revealed the outer planets, Neptune became the modern ruler of Pisces. And Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. It lifts the love of the heart center in Venus to the realm of unconditional love, compassion. The outer planets are working to, in various ways, get beyond the limitations of Saturn. And how Neptune does that is by dissolving the limitations, dissolving boundaries, dissolving things that separate. And so it is the classic mystical planet. It's the planet that helps us dissolve the boundaries of the ego and merge into our higher self and merge into divine oneness. So it is the most mystical planet. And when it comes together with Jupiter, well, Jupiter expands. So we have a very strong potential for spiritual awakening, for personal growth, forces that really support and propel our development at this time. And this is going to last us through March and April. So this is a window of opportunity, and I'm developing this series to help us step through that window and take advantage of it. Now, I gave the very positive view of those two planets, and planets are multivalent forces. It depends on how you use them. And if we look around us right now, we might say, well, I don't see a big wave of spiritual awakening on the planet right now, unless I look at the people I practice with. So yes, there is an other side to each of these planets. So Neptune's breaking down the boundaries of the self can have its adverse effects as well. It can go into confusion, deception, delusion, escapism, addiction, especially drugs and alcohol, so even full psychological breakdown. So there are negative potentials to this dissolving of the boundaries of the self that can come with Neptune. And what does Jupiter do? Well, Jupiter expands it. Jupiter makes it greater and more strong of an influence. And Jupiter adds its own little twist to it too, because Jupiter likes to make things bigger. So adds the qualities of overwhelm, overload, overwork, too much going on, ways that the world can seem to us in these kind of challenging and changeful times. So there is this background of the negative potentials, but in the center of it, and especially for anyone who is attuned in that direction, there is a beautiful potential for spiritual awakening. And this series, I'll be doing little mini classes, 20 minutes at the most is my goal, and it will be a small yoga series or more likely meditations that will help us align with the positive forces of these two planets and the sign of Pisces. So let's begin that process today, and we'll start by tuning in. So rubbing the palms together, hands into the heart center. We'll be tuning in with the Kundalini Yoga mantra, Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo, I bow to the creative force of the universe. Gurudev Namo, I bow to the teacher within. So inhale, exhale, and inhale to tune in. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. And inhale and exhale. So we are going to start today with a meditation that is a great way to start any new endeavor, because we're going to begin by assessing where we are at our starting point. And that'll give us a baseline that we might return to later and see how we have developed over this time period. So the meditation is called Inner Assessment, and it involves 3 parts. Each of them is done for 3 to 5 minutes. We'll keep it at the short end for the sake of the length of this video. And in each one, we're going to be doing long, deep breathing, a very slow, full breath that's very meditative and helps us to go within. And we're going to be holding our gaze, our drishti, at the brow point. And the brow point is the chakra that's ruled by Jupiter. So very fitting that we will have our gaze there in this meditation. So first we're going to be assessing our inner balance. And right now the world is so polarized that maintaining your inner balance is like your only refuge in the midst of this polarization. But how is your inner balance? So we're going to check that out in our first meditation. So please bring your hands into prayer mudra. And what we're going to do is slide the left hand up until we hit a point where the fingertips of the right hand are at the very base of the palm of the left hand. And we're going to hold this mudra in front of the midline of our body. And now, bringing our focus up to the brow point, let's begin long, deep breathing, assessing our inner balance. Yin-yang, masculine, feminine, being and doing. Whatever form manifests in you. Seeing your inner balance. Long, deep breathing. And please inhale deeply. Suspend the breath for a moment. And exhale, relaxing the hands, the breath, the gaze. And just sit for a moment with your inner balance. Next, we're going to be assessing our inner projection. Our inner projection is how we see ourselves. The world is always trying to tell us how we should be and how it sees us, but it's really important that we center in our own vision of ourselves. So this meditation helps us to see our own inner projection. And again, we're up at the Jupiter level here. This time, we're going to have our hands in prayer mudra, and I'll turn to the sides a little so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to bring the hands up, and I'm going to tuck the thumbs into the inner orbit of the eye, the bony structure around the eye, toward the center, upper center. And then the hands are in prayer mudra in front of the brow point. So this is our mudra for assessing our inner projection. The brow point is our visioning capacity. How do you see yourself? Gaze at the brow point, breathing long and deep. And now please take a nice deep inhale. Suspend the breath. And exhale, lowering the hands, releasing, relaxing the gaze. And just feel your inner sense of self. And finally, we're going to be assessing our inner strength. And it's beautiful where we assess that on ourselves, because this is where our inner strength lies. We all feel like we have to protect our tender hearts, but this is the strongest part of our being. So please bring the left hand over the heart, right hand over the left. Let the shoulders and elbows relax. And we're going to assess our inner strength as we experience it here at the heart, the very center of our being. The heart is the voice of the soul. So brow point focus, begin long, deep breathing. Assessing your inner strength, the strength of the heart. And now deep, full inhale. Suspend that lovely breath. And exhale, relaxing the gaze, the hands. And just feel that strength radiating from your heart center. The power of love. So we have two actions that we're called to in this time of spiritual potential. The first one is to work on ourselves. And the second one is to shine our light brightly into the world, just to inspire, to uplift the spirits of people around us, and let it shine as brightly as it can. And hopefully this little series will help us rev up our wattage. I hope you found this helpful, and I look forward to meeting you in the future with more mini classes riding this this wave of spiritual awakening. Sat Nam.